Today's story takes place around 3 years prior to Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. From the Age of Republic comic run, we get a story centered around Qui-Gon Jinn and his conflicts with the current state of the Jedi Order. It's a great read, and I feel like I understand so much better why Qui-Gon was so dead set on Anakin being trained. He was certain that he was the compass to right the wayward ship that is the Jedi Order and bring balance to the Force.
He is the chosen one. Will bring balance. Train him.
It's a pretty short read, only spanning around 22 pages, but it's a complete wellspring of knowledge. Our story starts dead in the thick of combat on the planet Brienne, with Qui-Gon deflecting an onslaught of blaster fire in an attempt to protect Thier, a priestess of wood, from the planet. Negotiations have unfortunately failed, because there wasn't really much to negotiate with to start with, and now his mission is to get Thier off the planet safely. However, while waiting for Obi-Wan Kenobi, his young Jedi Padawan, to pick them up, they are surrounded by the Metal Clan army. The leader of the Metal Clan demands that Priestess Thier give her either her word or blood, which he needs to take her trees. In defiance, she threatens him with the might of a Jedi warrior, but is quickly disappointed as Qui-Gon is more interested in escape than combat. Obi-Wan flies the ship overhead and they're able to escape onto it. En route to Coruscant, Thier laments that she cannot abandon her trees to the Metal Clan, but Qui-Gon reiterates that by her own laws, they cannot actually touch the trees without her word or blood.
You must trust my judgment, Your Highness.
Priestess Thier is actually really disappointed that Qui-Gon didn't just draw his lightsaber and cut them all down, ending the conflict. In an attempt to call him out, she states that she had heard that the Jedi were great warriors. However, she didn't know that they were cowards and that they would flee at the first sign of combat. This bothers Qui-Gon Jinn, but maybe not for the same reasons that she actually intended. Later in the Jedi Temple, Master Yoda comes to speak with Qui-Gon because he senses great turmoil within him. Qui-Gon tells Yoda that the words of the priestess bothered him, not being called a coward necessarily, but being called a great warrior. It bothers him that even here on their home planet, very few people understand the Jedi. They are seen as soldiers or servants of the politicians, with very little mention or understanding of the Force. Yoda tells him that the Force remains mysterious and that those that use it are often misunderstood. He counters, telling Yoda that their actions reflect their purpose, and that maybe the Jedi Council residing on Coruscant is part of the problem. The Republic is using them as a weapon, and so they're actually seen that way, maybe even by themselves. He feels that there's a loss of the Jedi vision. Yoda doesn't really agree, and tells him that he must seek understanding from the Force. Qui-Gon doesn't think that Coruscant is the place to find the answers he seeks, and he heads for his ship. He closes his eyes and he flies blind, trusting in the Force to guide him to where he needs to be. The planet he found was lush and beautiful, but upon closer inspection, he could sense darkness here, as if the planet itself was corrupted. He soon finds what appears to be a dark tower with a throne. He can sense that the dark side of the Force is strong here, and wonders if this is a lesson or a temptation. Meditating, he finds himself in a vision world, surrounded by creatures that appear to be covered in red vines. He draws his lightsaber and prepares to defend himself. Standing in the center of his slain enemies, he comes to realize a horrifying truth. The vines fall away to reveal the faces of Jedi, and he is the one that's killed them. He is consumed by the vines himself before realizing that it was actually all a vision. As he comes back to reality, he realizes that there is light in the darkness, that this planet is shared by light and darkness in balance without conflict. Afterwards, he speaks to Thier once more and urges her to speak to the people on Coruscant. He says that there are people from 1,000 worlds here, and she should be able to find allies for her cause. She agrees to give these supposed allies a chance to argue their case. He then lets Yoda know that he found the answers he was looking for, but also more questions. They discuss balance on the Force. Yoda clearly believes that you cannot bend to the dark side of the Force. Qui-Gon does agree because the dark side is all-consuming and you can't have balance that way. And what other is our purpose if not for balance?